Hey everyone, welcome to Unit 8. Before we get started, we need to look at solving for unknown measures in a triangle. The only reason we're going to revisit this is because the triangles are an integral part of the circle. The first thing we want to just revisit is this one right here, is the angle sum property. We know that all the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So as long as you have the one angle right here is 90 degrees, and oftentimes they're going to give you a second angle, you'll be able to figure out what angle X is there just by subtracting the 90 and 60 degree angle from 180. The second thing we probably need to revisit is the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem, in this case, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, is pretty straightforward. Now, they will have to, of course, give you one of the measurements on a triangle. And in this case here, they give us 8 centimeters and 7 centimeters. But we do have to know the difference between a leg and the hypotenuse. Obviously, there are two legs on here, and they are the shorter sides of a triangle. And this, the hypotenuse, is the longer side. Right? The hypotenuse refers to the c squared. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In this example right here, they go through there and they are doing it by line. So they have qr squared equals pr squared plus pq squared. Same thing. You have the distance between the two. So they have the p to q squared, which is 7 squared, which they have right there. And in this case here, the 8 centimeters is the hypotenuse. So we have to, of course, put that into the position in the equation that it equals the qr squared. Right, then they go through here and they square each one. Now, of course, they've taken some shortcuts in here, and we can, of course, do this a little bit longer. If we were to do the a squared plus b squared equals c squared part, a squared is unknown, so we would institute the 7 squared right here and the 8 squared, which is right there. And then, of course, we could just keep carrying this down. 7 squared is 49. 8 squared is 64. Okay? Then what we would do is we would flip those on the other side, and we would subtract and then take the square root of those two. And it would be approximately, so for example, we take this by 49, wherever that answer is, we take the square root, and that would give us the answer right here, which is about 3.87 approximately. That's what that means, centimeters long. So we would round up to 4. In the two examples they have right here, where they have the check part where they find the unknown measure, they give you two angles right there. So we would just add those, or we would just subtract the 50 and the 60 from 180, and we would get 70 degrees. In this case right here, where we have the 3 centimeters and the 5 centimeters, that's pretty straightforward because these, of course, right here are the legs of this right angle triangle. So then we would have 3 squared plus 5 squared, and then we would take the square root of those two. So 3 squared is 3 times 3 is 9, 5 squared is 25. Add those two together and take the square root, which is about 5.8. And we would put that down here in the space right here, or we would round that up to about 6.0 centimeters. Okay, so just a quick review on how to figure out the unknown measures in triangles using the angle sum property and using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, these are going to become important as we move through these lessons.